Hello everyone and welcome back to our segment CliniLaunch Knowledge Pod. Have you ever wondered how researchers collect the data from the clinical trials and how do they analyze it to make certain medical breakthroughs? In today's video, we will be discussing exactly about how someone would analyze the data using softwares available in the market and how the medical breakthroughs happen in the healthcare industry. So let's begin. Now, what is data collection? Right? Data collection is the process of gathering information from the participants in a clinical study. Now, as we have already discussed, that participants in this clinical study are both healthy volunteers and they are also the patients of certain specific disease group, right? This information that we are talking about, it can come from various sources. So let's go one by one. Meet the case report form, that means CRF. A key tool into this clinical research trial is the CRF. It is a standardized form capturing specific details about participants throughout the study. It can be paper-based or it can also be electronic. Apart from these paper-based or electronic CRF, researchers also have other forms to collect data. For example, they have the patient-reported outcomes or PROs, which is questionnaires or diaries filled by the participants about their experiences, whether the experience that they are facing in right now condition or they have been facing in the past history. We also have the medical records and diagnostic tests that have been conducted. Medical records, which are the existing records of the patient's health history, and the diagnostic tests which have been conducted before the beginning of this trial. We have the blood tests, we have the scans, and we also have the other tests to monitor the participants' health. Now, there are different needs of each and every researcher or each and every clinical trial. The way the data collected, it depends completely on the study type. That means whether it is an interventional study or it is an observational type of study. So we have these interviews, we have the wearable devices, and we also have mobile applications. Researchers can directly ask participants questions or they can track vitals and activity levels throughout the day using these wearable devices. They also collect data conveniently through the participants' mobile phones as to what they are doing in their day-to-day lives. When it comes to data analysis, before moving to that point, you need to understand the four main steps once the data is gathered. There is the data cleaning, then we have the data extraction, then we have the data validation, we also have the reporting and analysis at the end. So let's go deep into them. Once the data is collected, that is through different sites or one specific site, this data needs to be cleaned and extracted in the form of certain specific codes given to the researchers. These researchers ensure the accuracy and also the consistency by removing small errors or certain missing information. Once the data is validated, then they move on to the next step, that is data analysis and the data reporting part. Here comes the magic or the most interesting part. Researchers use statistical methods to analyze this data, right? They find patterns and they also have certain comparison studies done. Techniques like chi-square tests or t-tests help identify the trends and relationships between certain variables where we find the pattern, and then the researchers compare the effects of an intervention or a different group of study within the same study. Like we have already discussed, there is always a control group, which is a group of healthy volunteers with whom we will be covering up our studies or we will be comparing our studies. Remember, visualization is the key. Data visualizations like charts or graphs or tables help researchers and viewers easily understand complex findings within this clinical trial. We will be easily able to monitor and address those tiny errors that are happening in this clinical trial. Now, there are also some challenges and some considerations which have to be taken care of. Inaccurate or incomplete data can also lead to a misleading conclusion. Researchers take steps, small tiny steps, to ensure the data integrity throughout the process. Now, as I had told you about certain softwares, there is this software SAS 9.4 which is considered one of the most secure softwares. because the other softwares are an open license software, but SAS 9.4 is not. Then we also have certain ethical considerations we need to take care of, right? Protecting participants' privacy and confidentiality is very crucial. Researchers obtain informed consent form and anonymize the data whenever necessary. We ensure that this data remains anonymous and hidden so that the privacy of the participants is held within. We also have the bias awareness. That means researchers are also mindful of the potential biases that can skew the results. We have the selection bias or the placebo effect. On this, we will be making a separate video for your information. Coming to the bigger picture, that is the impact and the future of this. Data drives progress. Am I right? By analyzing clinical research data, researchers can determine the effectiveness and the safety of new treatments or new medicines, ultimately improving the healthcare as a whole. The future of data collection is here. Technology is playing a growing role. Electronic CRFs, wearable devices, and mobile applications are making data collection faster, more efficient, and participant friendly. That means the people who are participating in this clinical trial do not get troubled much during this time of data collection. You might have also heard about big data in artificial intelligence or in the IT field, right? We also have big data in clinical research. The future involves analyzing vast data sets to uncover new insights and personalized treatments. So do not worry, artificial intelligence and technology is also entering into the clinical research day by day. Now let's take a quick recap on what we have learned in this video. We explored the fascinating world of data collection and data analysis in clinical research. We also learned about SAS 9.4 being a closed license software. Data extraction or data collection is a meticulous process that lays the groundwork for all these medical advancements, right? Clinical research relies on volunteers, right? Consider participating in a study to contribute to the progress in healthcare. Thanks for joining us today. Leave a comment below with any questions or queries that you have and subscribe for more clinical research content. Also, do comment what is the next video that you want me to make on.